Okay, in this video I just wanted to talk about how you can do custom assignments to the top dials on Panasonic Lumix cameras, and specifically in this example we're using the GH6, but you can do this across various other Lumix cameras. You know, a lot of them have similar dial setups. So we covered this in another video that was sort of like a complete overview of how to customize dials, but this part of it sort of falls into the latter end of the video, and you know, it might be that it's kind of missed, and it's one of those things that can be quite useful. So I just wanted to kind of cover this specific part of it in this video. So what we'll do is we'll just switch on the camera, and as a bit of an overview, let me just try and grab focus on that. It's quite useful for people that say, for example, I'm set into the movie mode, and this dial here is going to be the shutter speed. So for example, for people that maybe just want to set their shutter speed to 180 degrees and, you know, almost just like set it and forget it and not really worry about changing it, this can be a really good option. If you don't know what I mean about 180 degree shutter, I'll link to a video about that. But yeah, essentially, you know, a dial that you otherwise wouldn't be using, you can bring back for something else that can be quite useful. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the menu, and we'll just jump into, you want the cog or the gear on the left, and then you want the top wheel with the arrow over the top of it, and then jump into that menu, and we're going to go into dial set, and then specifically in here we want the dial operation switch set up, and then we'll just click into that. And then what you'll see is we've got the camera, and this is kind of it's a top down view of the camera, so it looks like that without the lens essentially. So what we're looking at there is our shutter button, and then just behind it the yellow bit with the highlighted yellow bit, that's our top wheel at the front. And then this one back here, that's our rear top wheel, so that's this one here. So you can toggle between the two with the joystick or the D-pad, and then that essentially just lets us jump into one of these, and we can kind of decide what we want to change that to in this setting. So most of these, you're essentially saving yourself jumping into a menu. So things like exposure comp, ISO or ISO, white balance, they're all along the top of the camera, but the ISO or ISO button it's got these sort of raised divots on it, so it's quite easy to kind of feel, you know, it's got a tactile feel and you know where that button is, but it can be easy to forget, you know, sometimes if exposure comp's on the right and white balance on the left. So, you know, it's one of those things where if you want to set one of these, and also it saves you having to jump into it to change it, you're just doing it at the twist of a wheel. So what you can kind of do is pick one of those, or there's even additional ones like we've got photo style, aspect ratios, filter effects. You can jump in, you can toggle your AF modes, which can be really useful actually, all your flash modes as well. So there's some decent things in there, and in this one what we'll do is we'll just set the actually I'll just set that to AF mode, and then what we do is come out of there, and what you'll see is it's still not working. We're still setting our shutter speed with that, and we're still setting the aperture with the top one. So what we want to do is, and actually depending on what mode you're in, if you're in certain photo modes, these top dials will do different things. So you know, obviously make sure you do want to change them before you kind of do it, but the sort of good thing about this is it's just like a temporary switch. So what we'll do is we're just going to map this to the front button. I've got a video about like mapping the buttons and things, which I'll link up in the corner, but I'm just going to map the front button to this option here called dial operation switch. And then what this does, when I click on it, you can see down here this option's popped up. If I click on it again, it's gone. So right now shutter speed is this dial, top dial is my aperture, and then if I click on the dial operation switch shortcut that I've set up, now if I do it, you can see I can change my ISO or ISO with the top dial, which is really nice. That's, you know, that is something that I like to use. So we can just press OK on that, and then the front top dial you can see is still our aperture at the moment, but then if we click into that and then we do the front dial, you can see I can scroll through the focus modes, which is really good. I really like that you can scroll through those focus modes without having to kind of you know, jump into the menu and do it. So we could just pick like one area plus out of there, and you can see we've switched right back now, so we're back out of it. So you know, if I do it again, we're back just to aperture and stuff. So you have to press that button essentially, and then that will take you into it. It is sort of similar to you know, when you're saying clicking ISO and then doing it. It is kind of similar, but you've got obviously two options mapped there, so there is a bit of a benefit to doing it. It's got its own kind of you know, its own shortcuts within it, so it is something that I like to use from time to time. I do find it quite useful. But yeah, hopefully that's been helpful. If it has, give the video a like. If you want to see more videos like this, then check out the Lumix playlist on the channel. If you've got a Panasonic GH6, check out the Panasonic GH6 playlist on this channel, and please subscribe.